similar fashion. And there it is. So there's the main root control. And it's helpfully called root. So I'm just going to open up the script editor, pull it over to one side, select the root control, select the root control, there it is, and then drag this little bit of script, select -R root control, using my middle mouse button, drag that over to the shelf. Save script to shelf as a mel, and then go to the little pointy down arrow, go to shelf editor, and then name the icon as root, and click save all shelves. And now, anytime we want to select as root control, there it is, we've got it on a little shelf tab. I always do this when I open up a new character, always select the main controls so that I can get started and I know where they all are. Down here there's his right foot or right leg control as it's called there. So once again I'm going to select that, middle mouse drag that over to there, save it as a mel, and pointy down arrow, shelf editor, select the one we've just created and call it right leg. Save all shelves. Now select the left foot, do the same thing, middle mouse drag, release, save it as a mel, pointy down arrow, shelf editor, select it, left leg. Let's just make sure that looks a bit clearer. L leg, there we go. Right leg, L leg. Okay, so those are our main controls. Now let's do the head, because that's going to be important. We're going to want to be able to, can't move his head in the move tool, but we can rotate it and move it around like that. So I'm going to create a control for the head. So we're gonna have that move up and down as he walks. Save it as a mel, pointy down arrow, shelf editor, head. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to have to deal with his arms, and here we're going to want to use these controls here, which allow us to move his arms back and forth. So I'm going to select that one, and that's called the right shoulder. So I'm going to drag select that, middle mouse drag, save it as a mel, shelf editor, select it. Sure, how are we going to do this without shoulder? Remember, we only get 5 characters. How about R shoal? Yeah, okay. And then the left one, let's select the left one and let's call that L shoal. Shelf editor, L shoal, L shoal. So we've got R shoal and left L shoal. Okay, what else do we need here? What about this control? What does that do? Okay, so that tilt, that's his main body, that's his main upper body control, and then this one does his upper body from there. And we're probably going to want to use one of these, but not both of them. You want to be careful when you're animating multi-controlled characters not to animate too many things that do essentially the same thing. So why don't we take it from his waist? So okay, so I'm going to select that and drag it over, name it as a mel, shelf editor, and let's call that chest. I know it's called spine, but I won't remember that. So let's call it chest. Okay, and then we've got his lower arms. We need to... Oh, okay, that's interesting. You can You can animate them in Z. Most rigs you can't, because actually in real life you cannot do that. So usually that channel is locked. In actual fact, we could set this to local space. Let's see, let's go into the move tool. Right now it's set to world space, but let's set that to local. No, it's local space. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want for this one, because actually a real human arm only moves this way. So you want to be in local space. Before we were in world space like that, but that's going to make it hard for us to animate that arm because it's going to wander around a lot. So we want to be in local space on the arms. And actually what I think I'll do is, better yet, I'll just move the script editor out of the way for now, is that's the rotate Y on the arms, and I think I'm going to lock off these channels because we don't want, you generally don't want to rotate the arms in Z, or indeed in, actually you can rotate the arm in X, or can you? No, you can't. You can only rotate the wrist. Okay, so let's be realistic here. Let's say that rotate X, and I'm control selecting rotate Z, and now I'm going to right click and I'm going to lock them off. So what that means is that we can now only rotate in Y, which is what we want. So having done that, let's go back to the script editor. We'll select that control, select the elbow control, middle mouse drag it up there, save it as a mil, and go to, we'll call that right elbow. And there's the hand. Okay, so we want right hand. Pull that over. So you can see that this is more complicated than animating with Monty. Right hand. But that is unfortunately, we actually spend quite a lot of time animating with Monty during the course of these videos. But for now, we're going to animate with a fully rigged character, because I want to show you how to do a proper walk cycle. Okay, there's left shoulder, left shoal. Did we call the right one? Oh no, we've already had that. Sorry. And now we want left elbow. Move that one up there, save it. Shelf editor, left elbow. Left elbow, there we go. And then left wrist, or left hand, we'll call it left hand. Okay, shift editor, left hand. Okay, that should be enough controls to get us started. We're probably not going to need any more of them. Once we've done that, the only thing to do now is to sort of put Heavy in a kind of walking pose. I'm going to relax him a little bit, push him forward slightly, have him lean forward slightly, because remember we tend to lean forward as we walk, and I'm going to pull his arms a little bit down like that so that he looks a little bit more natural. Okay, maybe we'll pull him a little bit further down like that, and I'm also going to take his feet and rotate them out slightly, because nobody walks with their feet pointing directly ahead of them, or hardly anyone. Okay. And now that I've done that, I am going to go ahead and save it. File, save scene as, and I'm going to call it Alex Heavy Walk V001. That's how you would want to name it, with your name there. I'm actually going to remove the Alex because I know who it is, because this is my computer and I'm not submitting it to anyone. But you would want to put your name in there. Helps me keep track of which shots belong to whom, and also it's good practice, good work habits to get into, because at a studio you definitely want to name your work. And then save as, continue, close out the script editor, and we are good to start animating with this character. You'll note that I haven't taken through you all the controls on Heavy, just the ones that you need. We're especially not going to worry about the facial controls here. We just want to get a nice walk cycle working.